Hello and a very warm welcome to That Grassroots Ramble, the show bringing you all the latest from the grassroots game, including news, how-to guides, interviews with industry experts and lots more besides.
Yes, that's right. And as always, the show is brought to you by us here at My Club Pro. If you want an easy-to-use website that makes your volunteers' lives easier, then do give us a look at myclubpro.co.uk.
Coming up on today's show.
As part of our club marketing series, we'll be talking content with our very own Charlotte Richardson.
And we'll also be having a chat with Kent Football Association Senior Football Development Manager, mentor and coach Lee Suter. Being responsible for running a team is a huge challenge, so Lee will be in the studio to tackle some of the crunch questions coaches often ask.
And talking of challenges, we asked you to vote for what you think the toughest challenges are for the grassroots football community. The topic has got you talking, and we'll be sharing your thoughts and comments. So let's ramble. Charlotte, welcome back to that side of the studio. I think you better get comfortable. After our first episode talking about social media, people definitely want to know a lot more about it, don't they?
Yeah, it was really good to see after the first episode the amount of comments and people's feedback to the little segment around marketing. It's quite clear that the grassroots football community understands the importance of marketing, how it impacts upon sustainability and preparing for the future. So no, that was really, really rewarding to help people learn a little bit more about social media. But I guess that's kind of only brushing the surface of all that you can do from a marketing perspective.
Yeah, there's lots more we can talk about, isn't there? Right, so content is what we're talking about today. Arguably a bit of a vague term for many. So tell us exactly what it means in the context of a football club.
Yeah, so if we're talking about content, I guess in the same way that a team will always prepare and focus all its players on a match day, from a marketing point of view, I would say that content is that version of your 90 minutes on a Saturday afternoon. It's your way of getting people that you want to be interested in you engaged with what you're doing. It's how people deliver and act on your brand and engage with that brand. And I think content is kind of almost like that centre forward that bags you like 30 goals a season, or the goalie that makes a 90th minute save. It really is that important and crucial to a football club. And it's crucial because it leads people to experience what you're delivering as a football club, whether you're a club out there that's looking to set up a Wildcat Centre to engage more girls and women with your football club, or you're a pretty well established team in Step 3 who wants to grow a fan base. That content is a really important mechanism to help you achieve your objectives as a football club. And there's lots of different ways of producing content where, again, like we reflected upon in the last episode, it doesn't have to be too time consuming or draining. It can be really fun and rewarding for people all over the football club.
Cool, okay, right, you ready for the questions?
Yes, come on then.
Okay. So content is clearly pretty important, but why is it now more important than ever for football clubs?
Well, I think in the last episode we spoke about social media, the growing digital world that we live in, and how much of our day-to-day interactions are involved online. And I think with the growing emergence of social media and that digital world, our clubs and volunteers are able to reach out to more people than ever before, and in more innovative and pioneering ways than ever before. I think traditionally, you do quite a lot of your sort of postal, you'd be relying on press releases, traditional newspaper advertising and stuff like that, but there has been a shift in our global communications, and that has filtered down to grassroots football. And I think if you even look back at the game, maybe sort of 10 years ago, clubs weren't live tweeting their matches. They weren't creating like polls and interacting with fans in that way.
More like you put a poster up on a,
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, or, you'd go to a game, you'd write up a match report, you'd send it out to your local newspaper in the hope that they might put something up. Or if you're looking for players and stuff like that, you'd write a traditional advert, you'd go to your newspaper. Whereas now, with Facebook advertising, Twitter, social media, your website, it's become really, really important. And I think with content, what is really integral for clubs to realise is that your website is like a shop window for you, and there are some really good websites out there. There are some clubs doing really good work on their websites, but in order to do that, it has to be a little bit more multi-dimensional. That kind of shouty, putting your messages out there is not necessarily the way to go, and websites need to serve to do a lot more than just display your fixtures and results. And that's why I think it's important for clubs to consider their content, because even if you don't have the widest resource in the world, it can be a really crucial component for you. Yeah,
I think that's a key point, isn't it? I think what we see at My Club Pro is the clubs that utilise their website more than others, the ones that engage and put lots of content out, they perform far superior, don't they, than those that complete the bare minimum. And for me, your social media should always be a driver to your website. That's your end game.
Yeah.
So can you share with the viewers just how content can help the club grow?
Yeah, I think I could really ramble on about content and how important it is for a long time, really. But I've come up with like a little short list of ideas to help clubs grow, to grow their fan base, grow the number of teams they run, increase their website traffic, like you mentioned there. So one of them would be simply introducing a new fan section, or if more appropriate, an About Us section onto your website page, because that kind of key interaction on your homepage of your website really is so important. Like I reflected on in the last episode, we know that we all spend a lot of time on our devices, but actually the average attention span that we have to a new post is 12 seconds. 12 seconds.
It's the same with the website, isn't it? You've got to grab their attention straight away, they're off.
Yeah, and you need your website to be like easy to navigate. So having that About Us section, that fan section there, just stating and outlining really simple facts about where you're based, directions, parking, cost, simple information outlined in a clear, easy format can have a really big impact further down. And then my second point would be find your niche and go big with it. So
go big or go home.
Exactly that. Like focus on what makes your club different. A term we use in marketing, your unique selling point. Yeah. What is that little kind of craft that makes your club different, and what characteristics can then you promote? Do you have a 3G football pitch? Do you have a fantastic mascot who embodies everything about your brand that you can splash all over your website, splash all over your social media, and communicate the work that you're subsequently doing within your community that will engage diversity to your club, which is really, really important. And I know you get a lot of people through the work that My Club Pro do that really want to use their website to showcase that community outreach. And then I think the final point is that the online world is free, so increasing your community presence by publishing your programmes, posting matchday reports, matchday imagery, and then combining it with effective social media use. Really and truly then you're kind of pathing all of your content together and making that digital presence something that's really, really strong. And then, like I say, those aims and objectives on the pitch, commercially, off the pitch, you then start to find you're making some really important and positive strides.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the online world, the way it's changed, and we use social media a lot more. There's still no harm, is there, in sending your match reports, over to the local rag, because they're all online as well, and you can still get published there. So it's definitely worthwhile doing. Yeah,
definitely. I think the traditional means of marketing combined with your online marketing are really, really, the best way to go. And like you say, combining both, but underline it all is that key word.
Backing content from all angles.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Some really good ideas, and obviously they come with a fair few labour-intensive hours, don't they?
Yeah, there's no kind of shortcut when it comes to content. If you want it to have the impact of attracting people to your football club, if you're asking whoever the recipient is or the target audience to respond and make an action, you have to demonstrate that kind of interactive approach. So, arguably, if you're not doing your content well to begin with, at some stage you are going to fall short in the season, whether that's reaching the attendance figures that you need, whether that's being able to introduce the number of youth teams that you wanted to introduce, set up that vets team, set up that walking football team that you want. So I think one way and one tip that I would give anyone watching is engage your whole football club with the idea of this content. It doesn't have to be hours and hours of work. It could just be when you have that break over the summer, get all your committee together, get some younger volunteers, get some older volunteers, get them together, dedicate a couple of hours in the morning, get the coffees in, get the croissants in, plan out your season, map when your messages are going to be really important. We're coming up to Christmas now, but there are lots of kind of pinpoints in a club season that if you just map it out, you can identify when you're going to need some content for. And working together as well, I think you all become invested in that content, and then you can empower volunteers to go away and craft something, and in the process give them a sense of ownership. And with that unified approach, if nothing else, you'll be raising the sense of morale in your club, and that's really important, as we know, with volunteers, because it's got to feel worthwhile to them.
I think sometimes having a social media calendar can be a good thing as well, can't it, for planning throughout the year?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you can plan as much as possible, that's brilliant. And combined with that planning, getting your stakeholders engaged with what you're doing, and then the whole reason why we all love football and we all have our local team is because we feel a sense of community and unity with them. And like I say, if you can empower people that care about your football club, they're going to be the best brand ambassadors that you could ever want. So let them come up with ideas of how you can create content to showcase your club the best way possible.
Yeah, I mean that sense of teamwork and feeling part of something is really crucial, isn't it, for a number of teams? Is there any way that content marketing can help with community engagement?
Yeah, there's lots and lots of different ways. When you're creating your content, I think it's really important to have your community at the heart of it. And with football, I'm a firm believer that football is at the heart of most communities anyway. So one simple piece of content marketing could be to create a club email newsletter. Again, I'm sure there's plenty of clubs and volunteers watching who might be doing something like that anyway, but it doesn't have to be weekly. It could just be a monthly e-newsletter that's a mail shot to your database, keeping all of your stakeholders engaged with the work you're doing, your upcoming fixtures, opportunities, offers that you're doing. And in turn, you might find that local businesses, their ears then prick up because they learn
start taking note.
Exactly, like that local club down the road that's got a few hundred people subscribe to their e-newsletter. Oh, actually, I want them to come to my restaurant, or I want them to use my tyre service, or I want them to wash their car. And then you can kind of collaborate with those local businesses, tag them in your social media when they do kind of invest some money in you. And then you find like that cyclical nature of the content marketing attracts a sponsor, builds that sense of community. If you're managing to, again, collaborate with a brand that you can potentially offer a special deal to those that are subscribed, it then builds your email marketing database up. Everyone needs some business. Everyone wants to generate new leads, whether you're a football club or a local business. So I think that's one tip that I would give. And there are, again, free tools out there to help you do that. So you could obviously use Outlook, but MailChimp is a really, really good tool. It's free. It has creative templates that a volunteer could use to upload photos, type in copy, send out to that database. And like I say, content marketing, it can cause a really positive snowball effect, and it's helping your club build. And it's certainly something I would advise people to take a little look at. A simple idea like that could have really fantastic results.
Well, there's plenty of food for thought there. Thanks, Charlotte, for highlighting just how important it can be for a football club. Have you had some great examples of content? Maybe you've had a really good campaign that's worked for you? Comments down below, or as always, use the hashtag AskMyClubPro on Twitter. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a ramble.